Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get you the insights you need. Today, we're diving into something big in the anime world. Chainsaw Man the movie, Reze Arc. Just landed in 2025.
Yeah, and it's not straightforward. We're not just looking at one review. Our sources are, well, a mix. Early press, some industry takes from places like Screen Rant, Beyond.
Fan reactions too, right? From Reddit, Letterboxd.
Exactly. Plus box office notes, which are a bit all over the place in a deeper analytical piece. But one thing everyone agrees on, the sheer craft involved.
Right. So our goal here isn't just to say, hey, the movie looks great. We want to dig into why. What specific choices did MAPPA make? Why are people calling this a high watermark for adaptations? And, where did they have to make cuts or compromises?
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with the bit everyone seems to agree on. Visually and orally, this film is apparently stunning. Oh, absolutely. That's the headline everywhere. The animation, the lighting, the whole visual direction, it's consistently called the movie's biggest strength. It's not just like more budget than the TV show. It feels different, more deliberate. Analysts talk about the film really leaning into texture.
Texture, how so?
Like you could almost feel the rough concrete or the dampness in the air, the weave of Denji's clothes. It's tangible.
Okay, so it's not just about flashy action then. I saw mentions of the choreography feeling searchable.
Exactly. It's grounded. The violence feels impactful, physical, less like, just pure anime spectacle, more like well-executed stunts almost.
Interesting.
And that careful approach, it extends to everything visual. It's not just about smooth animation, it's real directorial vision. One thing that kept coming up was the use of color.
Ah, yes. Color as a character, basically.
Pretty much. It signals the mood, the underlying emotion. Very intentional.
Tell me more about that contrast they used.
Well, for the quiet moments, the personal stuff between Denji and Reze sharing food, the school scene, they use these soft, almost faded pastels. It looks gentle. Deceptively so.
Deceptively?
Because when things shift, when the violence kicks in or a hidden truth comes out, bam! The palette just snaps. Harsh, acidic reds flood the screen. It's jarring.
Wow, yeah. That sounds like it would create a real emotional whiplash for the viewer. Takes that tenderness and just rips it away with color.
Precisely. And apparently, for fans, there are extra layers. People on Reddit were pointing out all these clever visual callbacks to Fujimoto's manga covers, little aesthetic Easter eggs.
That shows real care then. A nod to the people who know the source material inside out.
It definitely signals respect for the manga, but visuals are only half of it. The sound design is just as crucial, according to these reviews.
Right. I read that the real strength wasn't necessarily the big score, but the small sounds, the quiet moments.
Absolutely. The emotional glue, as one source put it. The standout audio moments were often ambient. The city hum, a single piano note, the clink of dishes during a tense conversation.
Like they use silence or near silence to build tension?
Sort of punishing silence, yeah. It makes you lean in, makes the eventual break much more impactful. It's about building psychological tension through sound, not just underscoring the action.
That makes a lot of sense. Prioritizing that sensory immersion over just telling you how to feel with music.
It really heightens the stakes without needing characters to spell things out. And that combination, the visuals and the sound working together so tightly, that seems to be why it instantly got tagged as a high watermark.
Okay, so technically it's a masterclass. Let's shift gears then to the heart of it all. The Denji and Reze relationship. That's the core of this arc, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is where the adaptation really seems to connect with fans. The consensus is it's handled with, well, a lot of emotional weight. The tone is described as tragic, bittersweet. It constantly walks that line between genuine feeling and, manipulation and violence.
Denji's vulnerability must be huge here. He wants connection so badly.
It's palpable. But the real talk in the reviews is about Reze, how the film handles her.
What are they saying?
That the movie makes her even more potent, more frightening, but also more compelling, maybe even more than in the manga. She's not just an obstacle. She feels like a fully realized tragedy herself.
How do they manage that? Just through performance?
Performance, yes, but also those cinematic tricks again. Unsettling silences when she's being charming, getting the camera uncomfortably close, quick cuts to make her feel unpredictable. She embodies this idea that intimacy itself is dangerous in their world.
Wow.
And what's fascinating here is the film apparently refuses to simplify things. It doesn't just say Reze is bad or Denji's dumb.
It embraces the contradiction.
Exactly. It insists that real feelings, maybe even love, can exist right alongside monstrous actions. That even when the world punishes connection, people still reach for it. That seems to be the core theme.
That's a heavy theme for a movie. Sincerity mixed with lethality. You can see why it would hit hard.
Definitely. But packing all that, plus the original manga plot, into a movie, that means making choices. Let's talk about the structure, the adaptation compromises.
Right, the pacing. How faithful is it versus how much did they have to cut or change?
Well, there's the tension. It is faithful, emotionally speaking. Fans seem very satisfied on that front. But structurally, compression was inevitable. The big choice was clear. Prioritize Denji's feelings, the mood, over explaining every detail of the Devil Hunter world.
So scenes that had more room to breathe in the manga get tightened up?
Yeah, telescoped was the word used. Some of the quieter slice-of-life bits that build context slowly in the manga are sped up to keep the movie moving toward its climax.
Which is probably necessary for a film format.
You pretty much have to. To keep the focus razor sharp on Denji and Reze, the supporting cast, Aki, Power, even Makima, they take a bit of a backseat in this arc. They're there, but mostly to reflect Denji's situation or raise the stakes.
Okay, and that leads to the big warning sign that came up in multiple reviews. Here's where it gets really interesting. Because they focus so much on the emotion, it might not be the best starting point for newcomers.
That's the strong consensus. If you walk in totally fresh, never read the manga, maybe you haven't even seen the series, some plot points, character motivations might feel abrupt. Confusing, even.
You kind of need that background. Denji's life, how devils work, public safety.
It helps a lot. The film assumes a certain level of investment to really appreciate the nuances, especially the betrayals and the significance of certain interactions.
So it's a fantastic adaptation for fans, but maybe not a great entry point for the Chainsaw Man universe generally. Rewarding knowledge over accessibility.
That's the trade-off, yeah. They went for maximum emotional impact for those already on board, accepting it might leave others slightly adrift. For the core audience, though, that focus is probably exactly what they wanted.
All right, let's zoom out a bit. The bigger picture, the reception. It's making waves, but how's it actually doing?
Well, the professional critic scores, like on Rotten Tomatoes, were still coming in when our sources were compiled. So a bit early for a definitive number there. But the early buzz, very positive. Anime blogs, sites like Screen Rant, glowing reviews.
And the fan reaction?
Overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
Which, for a niche title like this, is arguably the most important metric. They seem to feel MPA nailed it.
And the box office. I saw mentions of modest but niche success. What does that actually mean? There were some figures from India mentioned.
Right. Ours is 3.61 crore in its first week in India. So
yeah.
Ours is rupees, and a crore is 10 million. That's about 36.1 million rupees.
Okay. How does that translate?
It's a solid number for an anime film in that specific market. Definitely profitable. But it confirms its status. This is a hit within its niche, appealing strongly to enthusiasts. It's not aiming for like a global Disney or Pixar level of mainstream dominance.
That makes sense. It succeeded by being really good for the people who already cared, not by watering itself down for everyone.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, its success kind of validates that approach for adapting dense manga. Emotional depth, strong direction, killer visuals and sound, those things can matter more than spelling out every single plot point if you're targeting the fan base. The unified takeaway seems to be it's mature, visually incredible, emotionally rough, a real meditation on love and loss in a brutal world.
Emotionally corrosive, I think, was the term used.
That fits. It sounds like it lingers, which also means, it might spark some debate. That emotional bluntness critique came up too. The ending. It apparently requires you to just sit with the tragedy. There's no neat resolution, no comforting wrap-up. It delivers the tragic closure and expects you to handle it, which is artistically bold. But yeah, not everyone lands the same way with that kind of ending. Depends on your tolerance for unresolved devastation, I guess.
So the big question we always like to leave you, the listener, with: what does this all mean for you? When a film goes all in on raw, honest emotion, maybe at the cost of some plot clarity for newcomers, and gives you that kind of challenging, tragic ending, is that powerful filmmaking worth the potential discomfort or confusion? Where do you land on that? Got any thoughts? Maybe favorite moments if you've seen it? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think.
Oh.
And hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more reviews and deep dives into the latest news, movies, dramas, and books. Definitely hit that bell icon too so you won't miss any new updates.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.